Hi everybody, welcome again to Dad Jitsu, episode 11 now.
Episode 11. I feel like we're really cruising now.
Yeah, that's it. We've found the sort of cruising altitude, haven't we?
Yeah.
Just pumping them out for you guys. Christmas is largely upon us now.
Coming upon us.
Coming upon us.
Coming its festive load.
Yeah.
Mincy load.
Soon the big man's going to break into our house and shoot his load all over our empty his sack all over our front room floor. How no one's picked up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully you've all got your Christmas shopping done by now. Nearly the food shop is about to happen. I like to leave it for a little while and just especially I don't go crazy like Christmas Eve, get the veg sort of thing, but
I've done that a few times. And lately I've been I think the first Christmas, I think I had cooked Christmas lunch for my parents once, but like the first one was like the COVID Christmas.
Okay.
The best Christmas of all time.
No obligation to go anywhere.
I had a spreadsheet, timings on it, temperatures.
Oh, wow.
Like it was a military operation.
Wow.
And it was brilliant. I loved it.
How did that work after like 4 brandies in the morning?
Yeah, we had gin cocktails. It was great. No, it was fine. I was brilliant.
Yeah.
And then I've rehashed that spreadsheet a few times since when I've been cooking at home. We entertained last time. We did Christmas last year here and things like that. But I fucking love it. Yeah, it's good. Well, I'm not that organised, but I just love a spreadsheet. It does help.
Some people do find comfort in it, don't they? Like just having it all there in front of you.
You can go deep in spreadsheets. I got really into them for a while, like the functionality and like making them you put a data point in here and then it spits out like a load of stuff. Like I was making like training pans with like drop down lists and then it would change the next list when you select a certain thing on that list and all this sort of stuff. Like you can go really deep with like how they work. Like you're almost like programming. And you can like create almost like apps within like in them kind of thing.
Are you using all the formulas and that?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you can go really deep. And then Will showed me like going into like program it through the back end of all like the code and stuff. So you can really lose yourself in it.
Some Neo shit, right?
Yeah, I had a member of staff once and like he was a great PT, but it wasn't for him. Like he doesn't do PT anymore and it wasn't for him. And I think he loved spreadsheets and we were getting into them at the same time. And sometimes I come in the office and I'd be like, and he's like, yeah, I've done all this stuff on like the training plan and stuff. And I'm thinking like, oh, that's good. But you are just procrastinating, fiddling with a spreadsheet.
Okay.
Like, whereas you could be out like talking to clients on the gym floor and like doing stuff that's actually going to benefit the business, but you're in here just tinkering. Like you've got like a car like hoisted up and there's no wheels on it and you're just like playing around with it and tinkering. That's what he was doing with spreadsheets just for hours on end. And I get it because it's very satisfying doing it,
Is it? Okay.
but that is not actually productive.
Don't just do that.
Yeah, that's it. But sorry, I was going on a random one about spreadsheets, but
I remember spreadsheets from a job that I once did, very basic level and from school, but I've never really used them to that degree.
Yeah.
For me, it's just a list, but I guess
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, what questions have we got before we really dive into? I mean, we can talk about Excel and sheets and all those things at length if you want. So put that in the comment if you want us to. I'll do it.
This is a good one again from Johnny, our question smith.
Questionnaire.
What is the high and low point of your jiu-jitsu journey so far?
Highs and lows, eh? Good. Well, you answer and I'll have a think.
Okay, so for me so far, definitely the high point was getting my purple belt.
Nice.
I honestly didn't think I'd get there. Not, just because of me. I still think my jiu-jitsu is bullshit. Like most people. Our coach Cole he like we said before, he promotes slowly and we love that because it's a really bona fide thing when you get it. But I find for me, everybody around me when they get their belt, I'm like, oh, fucking yeah, massively deserved. And then both my blue and purple, every time I'll be like, yeah, you really think I'm there? But yeah, I spent a couple of weeks afterwards just walking around thinking, I can't fucking believe I'm a purple belt. I got there.
I made it.
I made it, yeah, which is, So yeah, definitely that's the high point.
You got your mic on?
Oh fuck, no, so I think you're something. Recording your arse.
Sorry, the sounds sounded shit.
Yeah. My mic has been up Henry's backside.
Just been hoping it farts.
I'm back. So, high and low points of the jiu-jitsu journey so far. Sorry if you didn't hear any of that, and all you heard was muffling ass cheeks. Yeah, my high point was getting my purple belt, definitely.
Yeah.
Meant a lot to me. Means a lot to me.
Emotions are always a high point.
Definitely. Yeah. And I don't know, low point. I mean, COVID's up there as one of the low points of just like, just frustration and but that's everybody, isn't it? I touch wood. I don't know. So far, I haven't had any like major injuries that have kept me off the mat for months and months. I know you have, haven't you? But I'm obviously massively tempting fate by saying this. Is the mic even on as well? Is that on? Yeah. I don't know. I guess that's probably the closest to a low point I can imagine. I've had lots of little ones, lots of little, like I've said before, I got a fairly long journey home, so lots of frustrated journeys home when I'm just like, I had a shit session. I feel like I'm getting worse. I feel like everyone around me is getting better and I'm getting worse. Sort of thing. I know everyone has that, don't they? So I wouldn't say that's a low point, but those are the kind of the little dips that I get. But yeah, I'm just buzzing, loving it.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, I think for me, well, obviously getting my black belt was one of the high points for sure. Like, anytime I get to promote one of my boys is always good. And seeing, like, Ruben compete was amazing. Coaching the kids. Anytime we get to take the kids out in competition and see them compete and, like, win and things like that is amazing. Yeah. Even if they don't win, it's just seeing them out there sort of trying hard and that sort of thing really means a lot. Competing on Polaris was definitely a high point. Really enjoyed that. Like, there's been competitions that I really haven't enjoyed.
Yeah.
And I think for a long time I didn't really enjoy competing, and I just sort of did it because I thought that's what you had to do, and I wanted to be good at competing and wanted to win big competitions and stuff. So, you just sort of put yourself through it, but I really didn't enjoy it. And I still get in my head about it a bit, but I really enjoyed Polaris. Yeah, it was a really good experience. There were times in the match where I was a bit like, get in your head a little bit, but generally, the whole thing was amazing. Yeah, it would have been better if I'd won, obviously, but in some ways the ending was highly dramatic and funny anyway.
Pretty dramatic.
It was good.
There was a lot of drama on your face at the end of that.
So that was good, So those would be sort of high points. I think COVID, that I remember the last session before the lockdown started, and we were on the mats and everyone was rolling, and there was this just a weird energy in the club, and more everyone strange. Knew lockdowns were probably coming. I don't know if it had been announced or it was it had sort of been leaked and it was going to be it was going to be announced, but it just hadn't been announced. But I remember being in the change rooms at the end of the session, everyone's sort of getting changed, and there was no banter flying around. It was a bit just sort of quiet and
that.
And I just remember looking around and thinking God, this is
I remember that
really
moment
shit.
Because it was a training.
And that was the last session, and obviously everyone got put into lockdown. I think that night. I think because I used to do some of the briefings at
in the evenings.
10 o'clock or whatever, didn't they? And then
I think I was there for that session actually. We were upstairs and we were due to be doing a comp, weren't we?
Yeah, we were booked in for Grapple Fest. Grappling Industries, Yeah, and we were sort of umming and ahhing about doing it, and I think we both pulled out in the end, didn't we?
We had a chat and we were both just do you know what, fuck it, it's not worth it. We don't know what this is yet. Yeah. This could literally, put our kids in danger.
Yeah, sort of we were and I remember being thinking just that mindset of being I'm going to go to a sports hall in London, which were at the time was the epicenter in
spot.
The UK anyway, of people getting it, and I'm gonna roll around with a load of people. There's gonna be loads of people there. This is a bad idea. Let's not do it. And it was what it was. I wish I'd done it now, but
but we didn't know.
You just didn't know. So we made the right decision at that time.
With the information we had, definitely, it felt like the right thing to do because it was just this ain't worth
this ain't worth it. This we don't know what this is. But yeah, going back to what you were saying about your boys, definitely, outside of me, one of the real high points, was for my son was watching Ben get his first belt, if you know what I mean. I remember that day. I've got the footage, the security footage from the gym that Gareth sent me. It's really cool. Eventually I'm going to put it to some music because it was just great, because I remember you giving it to him, and there's a picture of him standing there on the side of the mat with his white belt around his neck, and you just know when you know your kid's like buzzing. Little look on his face, just like. And I remember just locking eyes with me and just being like, yeah, you've earned that. And then there's the end of the session, he just came and ran at me and dived at me and I gave him a big cuddle. That was amazing.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't put a price on that.
Yeah, 100%.
It was so cool. Just to see him, just joy, like I've achieved something, I'm not a newbie anymore. That feeling you have as an adult, but just watching that in your kid, it's like, it's multiplied by how cool it is.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good, isn't it? Yeah, so I think those will probably be the highs and lows. I'm sure there'll be more highs and lows to come. Yeah, there aren't that many lows, do you know what I mean? It's like,
just love it.
Just shit happens, isn't it? Like, you're going to get injured, you're going to have bad days.
I think the further down the journey you get, the lows probably get. I'm probably tempting fate by saying this, but the lows get less because you're getting further down the journey and you've got more kind of positives to draw from the past, and like times when you can't train, you just take the ebb and the flow with it.
There's a bigger picture, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. You're just like, I'm not going to train for a couple of weeks. I mean, I've been off the mats for the best part of a couple of weeks now. It feels like 6 months because it always does when you train regularly. But I'm just like, well, you know what? It's all good. It'll come right again. Whereas I think when you're trying to get better, especially when you're a white belt, and you're just like, I want to get better, and then you don't train for a little while, like,
so desperate.
There's a desperation there.
Yeah.
Whereas I think when you get to the, I can only speak for blue and purple belt, obviously, but once you get to those sort of levels, you're like, it's all right. I've done this enough times, and it's come right enough times. I'm like, okay, we're just doing this again.
Yeah. It definitely is off. You definitely get that perspective.
Yeah, that's the word. Yeah.
I think that actually this sort of like keys in with a question that someone sent me. Which I didn't send you actually from this week, which was, what are the telltale signs that someone's going to be in this game for the long run? So like, are there any things that you notice and you think that guy's going to leave soon, or like he's not going to be around, or things that you notice that go like, oh yeah, he's in this for life. He's a lifer.
He's a lifer. Yeah. I don't know, because I mean, it's a hard one to answer that, because there's been definitely people that. Kids and adults that I've seen that they're picking it up really quickly and it makes sense to them. You think, he's gonna be here for a while, and then they go. We had a kid, if you remember recently, who was really good, and then he got a girlfriend, and
I don't even think he got a girlfriend. Apparently.
Oh right,
I said
okay.
to someone the other day, and they were like, no, he hasn't got a girlfriend.
What happened? Like he was flying.
I think that is an issue of transitioning to the adult class. Let's come back to that.
Okay.
Because that can be a whole thing that we can talk about.
But yeah, definitely.
For me, like, to answer this question, one of the things that for me is a big red flag as to someone who's not going to be around is when they're very keen to tell you that they're going to be around forever.
Okay, yeah. It's like, who are you trying to convince, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We'll see.
And what I see that when you're like, oh yeah, I'm in this for life now. This is me now. Like that, I'm like, you're focused on the future.
Yeah.
So you have got like a goal orientated mindset, which sounds like a good thing, but actually isn't a good thing.
Yeah.
Because you're too focused on the goals. You're not focused on the process. And jiu-jitsu is a process orientated.
Yeah.
Like project, if you like.
Yeah.
You need to nerd out on getting better at jiu-jitsu and just enjoying the training and really be in the moment. If you're just constantly focused on the next belt or winning a gold medal or when you're going to achieve X, that actually isn't that useful. It seems good on the face of it because you're like, yeah, but this is motivating me to keep going. Yeah, but all you're really doing is like you're living your life with your head in the future and thinking, when I get this is going to happen. It's like nothing special is going to happen when you get promoted. In fact, you're probably just going to feel like shit. because you're just going to be comparing yourself against better people now. Or
Yeah.
like when you win that medal, you feel great for a minute, and then you get back to training Monday, and you're like, oh,
Get twatted.
nothing's changed.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
so all those things that you're striving towards aren't actually going to make you any better. So like what you want to focus on is just really just knuckle down and just focus on getting better at jiu-jitsu and focus on just enjoying the process. So like that whole when I look at someone and they're like, how do I get better? Like, or like, how can I like learn to submit this person? Or like, you know, when am I going to be able to do it? And I'm like, just forget about all that stuff. Just forget about that. Just focus on just enjoying the journey. And I know that's like a really shit thing to say, but like, I think
Yeah, I know what you
that
mean.
is the telltale for me when someone's very orientated around like achieving something. I think, that's not a great sign.
You need to at least also be in the present and be winning
Yeah,
the little
yeah.
battles or the feeling the little incremental progressions as you go. I think I was probably guilty of that as a white belt. I was like, I want to.
Yeah, probably all have to
Yeah.
getting our blue belt is the first thing that most people probably obsess about.
Yeah, for sure. Especially,
Or
yeah.
the first stripe.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think the first strike, I was just like, just training, and you know, and then I got the stripes. Oh fuck, okay. But then once you got a few stripes under your belt, you think, oh fuck, the blue belt's not far away. And then you start thinking, oh my god, I won't be a white belt soon. Oh my god, and it starts to get all like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But then I think for most people, I don't know if you're the same, but for me certainly, once I got that blue belt, it was like cool. I feel like I'm through that novice stage, that total novice, and that a huge chunk of that desperation just went.
Well, but
You
I
know?
think you're totally right, and I think probably everyone can relate to that, like wanting to get their blue belt. And I think being like fucking drawing a blue belt on your wall, man, coming home every day, fucking doing 20 crunches, looking like, oh man, I cheated, shrimp. Like that will drive you to get you your blue belt. That is fine.
It sounds like a lot of frustration, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, but will you be able to keep that same mentality to get your purple belt and then get your brown belt and then get your black belt? It's gonna drop off at some point because the journey's so long. Like that, like white knuckling. I'm gonna fucking achieve that thing. Like only for most people, I think anyway. Some people are sort of extreme versions of humans, and that will just drive them to win world championships. Or something. That is great.
Yeah.
But for most people, that will drop off at some point. That's probably why you see so much drop off at blue belt.
Right,
Because
yeah.
they fucking, they get that blue belt in a year and a half or 2 years or a year or whatever it takes them. And then you've got another, at least 2 years probably, before you're going to get your purple belt.
Yeah.
And then that's like, fuck, like, like, can I keep this going? Like, and so then you either think like, oh, I'm just going to fucking forget about it and just enjoy getting good at jiu-jitsu and just getting a routine and that sort of thing. Or it gets a bit dismayed and you're like, oh, I'm a blue belt now and I'm still shit. And like, it's going to be fucking 2 years until I get my purple belt. What's the fucking point?
Yeah.
You know? Like, I think that's where people drop off.
And you're absolutely. I think that first type of person, was it the desperate person was the first type you described. I think they were, they're gonna. You can't. Most people can't sustain that. I don't think. But I think the person you described that is the person that starts to enjoy jiu-jitsu. Those are your lifers.
Yeah.
There was definitely a point at white belt where I just realised in my head at least I was like, no, I love this.
Yeah.
I'm in this.
I think
I'm
I had
all
that
in.
literally in my first session.
Did you? Okay, right.
Which is weird to think back, but I remember leaving that first session and that feeling of like,
This is fucking awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
I think I was probably halfway through because I was still kind of transitioning between kickboxing and jiu-jitsu.
yeah. Just going to check the record function.
We should play Neurosis Bingo.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, put in the comments how long you think it's going to take for me to check the. It was 19 minutes and 32 seconds.
Yeah, so it's a record. Yeah, I think it was about halfway through. It was, and I just thought, yeah, this is it. This is fucking awesome. I'm all in on this now. This is like, for me, it felt like a similar kind of click to when I started playing guitar.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is who I am now, you know. And I know I'm in it for life. This is part of who I am now, you know.
What do you think about that though? Because I think I've heard lots of different people talking about like identity and like how you identify Like, and should you identify as someone who does jiu-jitsu? Like, is that a positive thing? Like, in terms of like going out and like competing and maybe you don't win and like that conflicts with your identity as being someone who does jiu-jitsu, or like is it a negative thing and you're not your identity shouldn't be like governed by being a jiu-jitsu person, and your identity should just be like, you're a good person and you're a father and these kind of things.
I know what you mean.
Like, do you think it's a positive thing to be like, jiu-jitsu is part of my identity, or do you think that can be harmful?
It depends on how you quantify that. So my nephew, for example, he's like all in on football. Fucking loves football. Talks about, plays football all the time. He's out several times a week playing. He watches football. He plays FIFA. He talks about. He can just bend your ear about football. Absolutely, fucking loves it, and it's great for him. He's got such a passion for it, But when he has a shit game, or he's quite down on his own skills, so he hangs a lot of his identity on how good he is at football.
Right.
Which can be very damaging. I think if you are that kind of a person where you're quantifying your value as a person on how good you are at your thing, that can be a bad thing. Whereas I think if you're seeing it as your identity, but win or lose, you do competitions and you do jiu-jitsu, but it's a facet of your identity, and it's a big part of who you are, but it's not. Your value isn't governed by how good you are at it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's where the problem comes.
That's it. And that's the crux.
Yeah, and I think that can be translated to anything like music or jiu-jitsu or football or whatever, swimming, whatever pastime that you're passionate about, whatever thing you're passionate about. I don't think it's healthy to hang your identity on how good you are at it. Just hang your identity on the fact that you love it.
Yeah.
And that should, win or lose. And actually, you'll probably get better, get out your own way more if you have that mindset, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's always someone better at jiu-jitsu.
Oh, yeah. Anything you do, right?
And I think what I've noticed is getting to black belt and sort of starting to compete at black belt, it just gets even worse.
Yeah. Like you said before, it's a deeper pool, isn't it?
So deep.
Yeah.
Like, I've got a competition this weekend, and there's a chap in my division who's like a 3rd degree black belt, 6th Dan judoka, like was part of like Team World fucking GB, I don't know what it is, but like this guy has probably been doing martial arts his whole life, about my age, but probably doing it his whole life.
Yeah.
Is like, for his age, as fucking
skilled up
as you can be. That's going to be an interesting match.
Yeah.
Part of me is expecting to lose. But part of me goes like, actually, no, you could win. Yeah. Like, you just need to go and play it right. But the depth is like deep. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's exciting for me. But if I hung my identity on my competition result, that could be really like dismaying and like really like, I feel shit, like I lost. Yeah. And, you got to forget about that because there's always going to be someone better.
Yeah. And that's so healthy to always have that in your head.
Yeah, yeah.
And be like, oh well, even two people that are the same level, it's like, well, you had a better day than me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That happens obviously all the time too.
Or you'll go to another club and you'll roll with a lower belt and they just fucking smoke you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm not even worth my belt. It's like, no, forget about that.
Yeah.
Like,
just stop being so hard on yourself.
Yeah,
like, you're right, it's okay.
Your identity should be, well, I mean, it's not for me to say how anyone should identify, but like maybe thinking about just being a good training partner and how hard you try. Yeah. These sort of things.
That's what they say about kids, isn't it? Like,
better sort of
definitely
things to think about.
Yeah, definitely. That's what they say about kids, is it just don't necessarily praise the achievement, praise the effort.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's a great way to think about it with kids, is praise the effort they put in, rather than, oh, great, you achieved that, so therefore, like, you deserve all this praise. Because then it's they're putting the emphasis on the wrong thing, I think. Because you have good days and bad days at everything. The effort that you put into anything, whether or not you achieve it, is way more valuable.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I think thinking about what can I give back to this sport. If you love it so much and you want it to be a part of your identity, and every time someone says, "Oh, tell me about yourself," the first thing you say is, "Oh, I do jiu-jitsu." If that's like something that's so important to you, rather than being like, I do jiu-jitsu and here's my competition record, you're like, I do jiu-jitsu and like I help out at my local club, like, I'm there like 6 days a week, we spar every day, and I like really put like my effort into it, and like I love it, like that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Like your competition record. Oh yeah, shit.
Yeah.
Like who cares? Like no,
Mate,
like,
totally.
no one cares, man.
Totally.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
people just like if you're there and you're helping your teammates and you're a positive influence in the club.
Yeah.
That for me is more important than someone who's winning gold medals.
100%. It's a
If you
team.
can couple it with gold medals, great.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I'm
team
not going to
sport.
say that's even better. Like, that's not better. That's just another thing that people do.
Yeah, I think the first, you know, I think you said being more committed to your community is way better than just being some dude who's just, you know, I suppose it's good for the individual, isn't it? But it's a team sport, isn't it? You know?
And that you could even make the argument that like the people who go out and win the golds, like at the highest level, they were probably going to be a high achiever in whatever they turn their thoughts to.
Yeah.
Because that is just their mindset. That's how they approach life.
Yeah.
They're just that intense person who's like, I've got to win. It like you know you know, and that sort of probably those sort of people are seeing success in like lots of, you know, whatever they're turning their hand to.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that is their path. That's sort of written for them. But for most people, like they're going to get a bit of success. Like I've won gold medals and stuff like that. But like, I can see winning gold medals isn't my path in jiu-jitsu. That's not what I'm going to look back on when I'm like 85 and think, I'm really glad I won all those gold medals.
Yeah.
That's not the reflection, is it?
No, it's
the
a nice
reflection
add-on.
is like, I'm glad that I could be a part of that community and I could coach people and help kids and adults like develop that part of their life and make an impact and sort of give back to the sport that I love so much.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to look back on.
Yeah.
And you've made so many good friendships and spent so much good time with people.
Yeah,
and
man.
had good fun. Like that's the thing that you're going to reflect on, isn't it?
It's human connection, isn't it?
Yeah. Like not the gold medals. The gold medals are just
It's a nice extra bit, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah,
That's it.
totally.
And some people never compete.
Yeah. Oh, there's some really good guys at our gym who've never really competed, and that's fine. You know, it's not for everybody, is it? It's totally. It's a community. Like I say, it's a team sport. Well, obviously, when you compete, like we said before, it's just you up there, but you are part of a team. And off the mats, off competition day, or just normal training, you know, if you're a good member of your team, you're chipping in and you're helping people. And someone's got a fight coming up, you're doing your shark tanking with them, and you're turning up and doing training that's more just about them. You know. Helping.
You're as valuable at that point as the person who's going out and competing.
Definitely.
Maybe more valuable.
Definitely, yeah. Because what are they going to do without you? Like in grappling dummy, you are needed.
Definitely.
And your input, your physical and your mental input, you know, it's when there's guys, you know, some of the guys we're training with the ADCC, it's like just, you know, there'll be one of, like you sat at the edge saying, oh, you try this and try that, and you sort of landing wrong when you do that, just try and add a bit more of whatever in, sort of thing. I think we're all helping each other, aren't we? You know, and I think it's a reciprocal thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. I think it's a second family, really.
It's a team sport more than team sports are team sports.
Yeah, in some ways.
Like,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know. I haven't done that much in the way of team sports growing up, but I know what you mean. Yeah, you are. It's a very, very close knit community, isn't it? And that's what I really love about that. I like to make real close connections with people. And I think
really close.
I mean, jiu-jitsu, we're really close. You know,
Connecting on a deep level. Oil checks.
oil checks, baby. That's the one. That's the ultimate goal, isn't it? Where you know you can oil check someone and they don't even flinch. It's just there's been so many. You could throw a gold clock up there and he wouldn't even feel it.
Have we got another question?
There's one from Taylor. I mean, this is definitely one for you because of your medical prowess. Wouldn't it be better to have knee ligaments surgically removed before starting jiu-jitsu? Obviously, Taylor, thanks Taylor, the guy submitting this is also a medical
Paramedic
person.
Oh, crikey. Well, obviously it's a joke, but
Yeah.
I don't think you could get them. I don't know exactly how the knee structures work, but I think if you got rid of all of the knee ligaments, that would be quite tricky.
Troublesome.
Obviously, your skin and your muscle would still keep your leg attached to each other, but I feel like maybe your kneecap might like float off, or
Your stand up would be pretty shit.
I don't know how it would work. Like obviously your knee would be highly unstable. But saying that, like there are people who like don't have ACLs. Like look at Nicky Ryan. Like as far as I'm aware, like he doesn't have an ACL.
Right.
And obviously it has affected his like ability to perform in competition, I think.
As in he's had it removed?
I think it like got broken and then it's just been like left, and I think it does. I think he doesn't have one anymore.
Wow.
Like, and there's actually a guy I know who doesn't have an ACL anymore because it got like fucking completely like trash and it's just not there anymore. And we did a bit of jiu-jitsu together actually, and he sort of was a rollerblader and used to rollerblade and things like that. So
Sure.
I think you can like, and look at Nicky Ryan, like he's fucking in the training room like savaging it. So obviously you can still perform without an ACL. I don't know how you'd perform without
Nothing.
any knee ligaments. Be an interesting experiment. They're probably, the meows are probably close to that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I think it's a question of like pain tolerance and like probably like your muscles would like build up. to
Yeah,
support the
something.
knee. There'll be other things. Like the body's
Compensatory.
quite good at like surviving.
Yeah.
Like we're always looking to like
Adapt.
sort of get to homeostasis, like get to
Yeah,
balance. So
yeah.
other things would probably kick into like. Don't know. Interesting experiment.
I'm tempted fate again. I've never really had...
Don't say it.
Okay, fine. What will happen is that,
You can't ever say.
Yeah.
This is so. If you learn nothing else from this podcast, never say that you're not injured.
Yeah.
Never say that you've never had an injury. Never say this. Oh, this is never broken, because that is you've
Tempted fate.
sealed it
Yeah,
in fate.
Yeah. Thank
Someone
you.
said
Thank
the
you for
other
that.
day. I
Thank
can't
you for
remember who
stopping
it
me.
was. Someone said the other day about something. Oh yeah, no, they said that they'd never broken a bone, and I was like,
That's it.
well done, mate.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
say,
yeah,
well, I wonder
yeah.
what it's going to be. Let's
Yeah,
take
yeah.
a little like round robin. Like, is it a finger or a metacarpal or maybe a whole like a leg? You know, maybe a femur.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, it's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you've
It's gonna-
sealed it. In
you've done
fate.
it, you've done it.
Every time I've said like, yeah, I feel really good. Like, I've got no injuries at the moment. Literally within a week, major injury.
Something, yeah. Okay, well, thank you for stopping me.
Just
Just
never
getting
say it.
imagine next week I'm like, I was wrong, and I'm in a full cast. Fuck.
Because you can always think of an injury that's still a bit niggly.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
You're
oh,
never
yeah.
not injured.
There's always
something.
Yeah,
it might just
yeah.
be that your little finger knuckle's a bit swollen.
Yeah.
That's an injury.
Still an injury.
Guy, all right? If you're not training, that's not happening.
Yeah, yeah.
That knuckle is not in full health. So you are always injured. And remember that.
Yeah, yeah,
All right?
Yeah.
Remember that. You are always injured.
yeah.
That's a mindset.
You're never out of the woods.
You're never out of the woods. You're never 100%. And don't you forget that. Don't.
So knees covered.
Yes.
So this is actually one from you, isn't it? So the term professor.
So I'll give a bit of
Discuss.
context. I was listening to a podcast with someone and they referred to themselves as a professor. It's an English person as well. And I just sort of did a little cringe, like,
Wanky alert.
like, ever since I first heard, like, I feel like it's only been like on the like scene for like the last, 5 years? Like, I've never heard that term being like used, professor. I think it was, first people I heard using it was like the Mendes brothers, I think.
Oh yeah, but it's a Brazilian term, right?
I think so.
originally, obviously, but
I thought
means,
it had like originated in America.
Yeah.
Because they're like, no offense to American people, but like sometimes they can be a bit grandiose,
yeah,
a bit over the top.
yeah, maybe.
That's coming from an English personality.
Yeah,
because
cynical.
We're very like
Yeah.
cynical and sort of reserved.
Yeah.
So maybe if you don't come from a culture like that, you'd be like, well, it's just normal. But like,
Yeah.
we would probably think Americans sometimes can be a little bit over the top. But
Yeah.
and I thought, oh god, professor, like, come on. But apparently, it's like a Brazilian thing where maybe like it like roughly translates as teacher. So
Okay.
they would refer to their coach, teacher.
Yeah. Which is fair enough.
Which is okay. But I think in English that doesn't mean teacher. Like
No.
it's like the highest level of
Yeah.
like academia that you can kind of
Yeah.
achieve. So to refer to a jiu-jitsu coach as a professor is highly grandiose.
Yeah,
Like I know
It's a
it
bit
took you
much.
10 plus years to get your black belt, but like it's not the same thing
No, you're not-
as becoming a professor of like fucking
Medicine,
medicine.
yeah.
It is not the same
yeah,
thing.
you ain't saving lives, are you?
You are
Sort of
not.
thing.
Like
yeah.
jiu-jitsu coaching is not serious.
Yeah.
It is adult PE.
Yeah,
Like, it's a pastime. We love it. It's so important. I've engineered my whole life around it. And because of that, I have to remind myself periodically that, like, this isn't a serious job.
But that's awesome.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Like-
Like, I can earn money, like, teaching jiu-jitsu. I'm just like, and people are walking around, fucking hate what you going in, doing my tie-up. And I have to, like, type this report for someone. I fucking hate this. I'm like, yeah, I filmed a video.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
I did, like, Brian, like, sat on my face.
Yeah, man. I'm the same
And I
with
got paid for that.
Yeah, I'm the same with music. Like, I get paid to go and play guitar like a twat.
Yeah.
In a room like full of people. It's I'm buzzing. I'm loving life. Like, I feel like I've won.
Yeah.
To me anyway. Like, I feel very, very lucky. And I think, like you said, the jiu-jitsu is we're just playing at life basically,
That's
aren't
what
we?
I mean. And like, I think for me, like, sometimes, like, going around coaching people and, like, someone's getting something wrong and you think, oh, for fuck's sake, I told you. And then I just
Yeah.
think, like, well, why am I getting annoyed?
Yeah.
Like, I'm teaching an adult how to do PE.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, this is... I
Is
shouldn't be getting annoyed because this isn't a serious job, and he's not, like, cocked up a financial report that's, like, meaning a business isn't getting there. Like, this is just fun.
It's not life and death.
He's just not getting it. Let's just explain it in a different way.
Yeah, man, I'm the same with music teaching. It's just, we ain't going to war, are we? We're very lucky that we're able to do that. We live in an age and a time and a part of the world where we're able to do that. And yeah, it's very healthy to constantly just check yourself and be like, you're really lucky.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
This is not a big, if something's not going perfectly, this is not a big problem.
Yeah, and if someone wants to call me professor, like, I'm not going to be like, oh, don't call me that, mate. Like, I don't care, fucking. Like, I don't take whatever you call me. I don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
You can use my name. You can say coach. If you don't know my name, sometimes people don't know my name, so they'll just refer to me as coach, or fucking yeah. Usually it's just coach or yeah, Henry
Sir,
or
Lord.
Sir. With the kids, sometimes they'll call you Sir, Mister. Like, there's some of the Brazilian people call me Professor. Like, I just think it's funny. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll call Mike Sensei, which I think
Yeah.
apparently Sensei means the man, like, who was there before you.
All right.
But I always feel like you should call, like, your girlfriend's, like, ex Sensei.
Sensei.
Because he came before you, didn't he?
Literally.
You know. So, yeah. But, yeah, whatever, like, but I will never call it. So if I had a coach and they wanted to be called Professor, that's not happening. Because I'm like, dude, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Luckily, obviously, Colin is not like that. And, like, Colin would, like, cringe if you called him Professor.
It's,
But yeah, I think if you're referring to yourself as Professor, unless you, like, work for an organisation and, like, you're being told that you have to, like, but then I'd question, like, should we be working for that
if you are a jiu-jitaro, which is a term that I've conceded and accepted, I would prefer I still don't know. I still don't know how to spell it. But if you are a jiu-jitaro and we good?
Yeah.
Ding, another bingo point. And you are, you're referring to yourself as professor. That's a bit wanky.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Even Sensei.
Yeah.
Master.
Yeah, just a bit wanky.
What else is there? What other, like, traditional martial arts? What do they call them? Like, Master's one, isn't it?
I just know sensei. And,
Sensei.
I think they use, obviously, all the Japanese martial arts probably use that, don't they? But I always thought that meant, like, master. Obviously not.
Yeah, what Sensei? Well, I think it kind of... Well, the idea is that the person who was there before, like, so they were there before you, like, they've done it, and then they're showing you. I think that's the sort of general gist of that.
Okay.
Again, I might be wrong. Mike just tells us random stuff. Most of this is from Mike, our judo teacher. But I think he just changes the definitions of, like, the Japanese words just every week.
Just to fuck with us.
Like, I must have heard about 15 different, like, definitions of the word judo and what it means. Like, he'll say it's the same every time, but I'm pretty sure he's changing it every time. And I'm sure I've said to him about that, and he was like, no, that's not what I said. But
maybe it's just so complex.
I just wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah, it's very difficult. But yeah, I think, Professor.
Bit much in certain circles. It's a bit much. If you are referring to yourself as it,
I don't mind my kids calling me a master.
that could have certain uses, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Master says to go and do your teeth. Master says put your shoes on. We're 20 minutes late for school.
Yeah, you could start referring yourself in the third person.
Yeah.
Having, like, an alter ego.
talk about the control of your kids. We were talking about the elf on the shelf earlier, weren't we? And you said you don't do it.
Well, I just hate the way that Elf on a Shelf, for some reason this year, I mean, again, I might be wrong about this, maybe this is just sort of what's happening in our life, but it seems like it's become just a standard thing that every family with kids has to have Elf on a Shelf now, and like that's just a standard thing, and I'm like, when did that start? Because that's not something I'm aware of.
It's a very American thing.
It's a very it's bullshit. It's just like, it's another thing that you got to buy, and you got to like do every day.
Mate,
like not,
honestly,
a calendar's just, I can just about get a calendar down and give them that.
Yeah.
Like, we're not even good at that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing Elf on a Shelf every day. You fucking kidding me?
So we started when Ben was little. Obviously, this is going to have to be a censored podcast until the kids are older. It's not real, guys. We do it every night. God knows. So we started when he was little, and he totally believed it. And they still. Ben, bless him, he's 11. He goes to school. He's like, we call our elf Elvis,
Nice.
and he's trying to be cool in like secondary school about it. He's like, see you later, Elvis. Like, nice. But he still like kind of believes. It's quite sweet. So and like Violet's all in. Like, Elvis is real, and oh my god. But we had to. So what a lot of people do, I don't know whether you know the tradition, but it's basically he's like Santa's policeman.
Right.
So he does cheeky stuff in the middle of the night, but he's watching you, and he's like fucking. And it's another way of being like, you better behave, otherwise you're going to go on the naughty list. And he actually, Santa, it's not just Christmas magic, and he can see you from wherever he is. Like the elf's literally watching you. So it's quite like it's just strange in that way. It's quite I can't think of the word, but he's watching you all the time.
It's seedy.
It's a bit. What's the word? It begins with V. There's a word.
It's voyeuristic.
Voyeuristic. Thank you. It's quite voyeuristic kind of.
Santa's
thing.
got eyes in every.
Yeah, he's watching you while you sleep. There's a little creature. And so he does cheeky stuff at night, and it's kind of. But so anyway, that after a while didn't work for us because I think he's autistic and he's not good with pressure. I think that's the autistic side of it. He's not good with the pressure of it, and he really was start acting out and like behaving really badly in December. Like one year it was awful, all the way through December, even including Christmas Day, and it was we realised it was all to do with the pressure building up of like be a good boy, otherwise you I told you, didn't I? Be a good boy, otherwise you're going to be on the naughty list and you're not going to get anything. And what that does is it makes him act out because he's worried that he's going to do it, and then he ends up behaving badly, and he's I've done it wrong again, oh god, and it just compounds and compounds. So we made the decision, rather than Elvis being a policeman, he's just going to turn up and do cheeky stuff. It's just a fun thing. And like the bubble burst. So if you're out there, if you're getting that, try that. It really worked for us.
I've got a better solution.
Don't do it.
Because we bought one, we never really did it, but we just had it around the house, and then we bought a dog.
Okay.
And that Christmas, the elf came out, and the dog actually is quite partial to elf meat. And we came down one morning, and it couldn't have been more perfect, really. If I'd planned it, it literally couldn't be more perfect. Elf in the middle of the floor, his stomach has been eaten. Like just removed, like disemboweled, his head's off. Like it was the perfect murder scene. Kids come down, they find him, like there's tears. He's been murdered.
Yeah.
And now, like, they're like, well, when's Santa going to send another elf? And I'm like, dude, they ain't sending another elf. Like they've literally got a day every year where they're like mourning the loss of this elf.
There's a little white cross in the ground.
There's like a dangerous wild animal living in our house who loves the taste of elf meat. That they're not saying like they can't send another elf.
Yeah,
like that's too dangerous.
KIA.
We're out of it.
Yeah,
it's great,
man. Yeah, that's it. And Nova's forever on the naughty list.
Exactly. Yeah, she ain't giving a fuck.
And also for the kids, that's good because it's like you didn't even do it, so you're not on the naughty list.
That's what I mean.
That's genius.
Like a devoid of responsibility.
Yeah, it's the dog.
Yeah,
the dog doesn't get any presents. She don't give a shit.
Exactly.
So am I getting fed? Can I have a poo? That's it. That's all I need.
Exactly. She doesn't care. Yeah. So. Like if you don't have an animal, I would maybe you could like use like a knife and cut out the stomach and like put a bit of blood on, because this will be the last time you'll have to do this, and maybe leave it in the garden and say that like a badger broke it. Like, sorry mate, they're not going to send another one. There's a lethal badger set around, and you know they can't take the risk of losing another elf.
Good idea, man.
Yeah.
So, we haven't done that yet, but it's a bloody good idea. What we do.
Need an out.
Yeah, that's a fucking good idea.
That's it.
So, because every night we get in bed and go, the elf.
Exactly.
You know, and then you have to think of some. And another bit of advice: if you do it and you want to carry on doing it, don't come in too hot on the December 1st. I've done that too. There's some elaborate thing, and you're like, cool, that's the bar that I have to raise every day now. You have to start basic and then just slowly build it up. We're just starting to build it up now because it's like the last week before Christmas or whatever.
I saw there was something on like Instagram, I think, and she was like, "Oh, it's fucking Elf on the Shelf. Like, all I do is I just get it and I just launch it." Like, and then I'm like, "Oh, let's try and find Elf on the Shelf," and they like find it. And she's like, "Hopefully they won't find it, but they find it every day." I love that. Like, oh, we hit there today. Okay, next night.
Fuck the hell. I came in last night and I'd been out at a gig and Vic had done it, and she'd like set up this like suspended bit of like wire and he's hanging off it and candy cane. It's really sweet.
It is sweet, yeah.
But it is one of those things where you're like, just another thing to do in December.
Too many things.
Crazy.
Too many things. Right, let's call it there. I think we're on about 40 minutes and I'm desperate for a piss.
Okay. Let's call it there.
Right, subscribe, touch my bell, go to our Instagrams and subscribe to our Instagrams. Sign up for my strength program, Fight Squad strength program. The link's in my bio on my Instagram, on my link tree. That's episode 11. We are creeping closer to 21 episodes. That top 1%.
Come on, baby.
I'm goal orientated. We're probably going to stop at the next.
Think about the present, man. Just think about the present, yeah.
See you next.